Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of Spurs Chat. In this episode, we will be discussing everything Tottenham Hotspur, including the push for the top four. Tottenham Hotspur are currently fourth in the Premier League. We have 8 games left, and in tonight's show, I have 3 very special guests with me. And also joining us later on this evening will be Sophie Nicolau from the Highbury squad, an Arsenal fan, giving her view on the push for the top 4. But before I introduce the guests, if you're watching on YouTube, please do hit that like button, comment below, and hit that subscribe button as well. And if you're listening to on an audio platform, do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Now let's introduce the guests. Melvin is back with us all the way from Malta. Melvin, how are you?
I'm good. You know, I'm finally sleeping. Okay.
Good stuff. We've also got Craig from Essex with us. Craig, how are you?
Yeah, to say Essex. Yeah, is it that obvious? Yes. Hello, everyone. Good to be back. Good to be back with smiles on our faces, and good to see a smile on Mr. Maloney's face as well.
Exactly. We've also got Gary with us all the way from London. Gary, how are you?
Yeah, I'm really good at the moment. I'm a happy Tottenham fan at present, so may it continue. Yeah, I'm really good. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me on, mate, as always.
Yeah,
we've also got Anthony Costa with us here. I spoke to Anthony this morning. He said, Chris, don't get carried away and do not banter Arsenal, whatever you do. Let's just take one game at a time. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. Very true words spoke.
Melvin, let's start with you. I know there's this running joke about you coming on this channel whenever Spurs lose games. You know, it's been a very up and down season, but how are you feeling right now as a Spurs fan?
I'm happy, you know. This week I'm finally sleeping better. You know, last week I had terrible sleep. And from Saturday and Sunday onwards, it was fixed. I don't know why, you know, sitting top 4 probably fixed it. But yeah, I'm delighted, you know. I was looking at our tweets from a year ago and trying to think where we were a year ago. A year ago today, we were about to sack Jose. And, you know, we had Mason as manager. And to think today, we have Antonio Conte. We're pushing for top 4. We can see the team, you know, turning and becoming, it's like early Pochettino days, that kind of vibes. When we started to see what was going on, I have the same feeling. And, you know, the club has direction and the fans are happy and, you know, there's a buzz and I've been happy and, you know, looking at flights and tickets. And when I'm doing that, it means something is going on. You know, I'm excited about the club. I'm excited about the next 8 games. And at least there's something to fight till the end of the season. We're not competing in Europe. We're not competing in the FA Cup. But we're fighting for the top 4 because of what it can bring to the club. So yeah, I'm buzzing. I'm excited, and yeah, it's gonna be a good talk.
Hopefully. Well, you're absolutely right, Melvin. The excitement is back. Craig, how are you feeling as a Spurs fan right now? Are you excited?
I am. I'm trying to keep the lid on it, if I'm honest. But you know, the way we've been playing the last 3 games is really piqued my interest again. Me and Gary have had some conversations, you know, going back a few weeks, how low we were both feeling, you know, and I'm really getting my, not interest back again, because I've always taken interest in Tottenham, of course I do, whether it's high or low, but it really is now. It's just the way we've been playing the last 3 games. It really seems, dare I say it, to be starting to click again. And Melvin hit the nail on the head there when he said about the peak Pochettino days, where I had to look back, must be 5-6 years ago now, but where we went on a 9-game winning run in the league, I think it was, I saw. And it's that kind of feel. I'm not getting carried away, but it's that confidence. You can see the confidence coming back into the players and almost exuding confidence on the pitch, and how Bentancur just seems so calm at whatever he does when the rest of us have panicked. I think it's just really adding and helping the team out there. So let's take it one game at a time. But I'm very excited. I'm really looking forward to tonight's chat, because I think there's some good stuff coming up for everybody to enjoy, hopefully.
Gary, how are you feeling? The last time you were on this channel, you were pretty down.
Yeah, I'm all right. Craig touched on it earlier. Craig will vouch for me. I said That's it. I've had enough of Tottenham. I'm not going anymore. I'm selling the number plate. I'm done with the club, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm like, oh, I might keep holding that number plate for a bit. It's worth a bit more money. And I've gone back to watching the games, going to the games, and then tuning into Match of the Day. There's nothing better when you get a win and then you can sit down, get all ready and watch it on Match of the Day. It's lovely. Watching all the build-up, knowing that you've got a good result, And listen, I'm not getting carried away. I never get carried away with Tottenham. I'm one of the most grounded Tottenham fans there is because I know what we're like. But you just can't take nothing away from that second half. And people will say it's only Newcastle and everything else, but it's a great second half. And I think we touched on it with the Juventus guys and stuff. Yeah, we just look so much better in midfield. There's so many positives at the moment, a lot more than negatives. So yeah, I'm pretty happy, but I'm still apprehensive is probably the right word if I'm honest. So yeah.
Melvin, let's come to you. Of course, on Sunday, Spurs put 5 past Newcastle, beating them 5-1 after going 1-0 down. Goals from Ben Davies, Matt Doherty, Heung-min Son, Emerson Royale and Stephen Bergwijn. Assists from Heung-min Son, Harry Kane, Kulusevski, Doherty and Lucas Moura. What did you make of that performance?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. When you score 5 goals and you play like that at home, especially going 1-0 down, I think I really enjoyed it when I saw what it meant for Ben Davies to score, not only because we equalized, because it's like, come on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're 1-0 down. It's like, I did the exact same thing in my living room, probably the same thing as Ben Davies was doing on the pitch, because it was like, we're 1-0 down to Newcastle, and this run and what we're feeling right now could be over. And all of a sudden, it's like getting a big goal like that. I really enjoy to see things like that. I think for the first time, we're starting to see, I think earlier in the season, we started to see Conte implement his style and his tactics, but it's like, it wasn't fluid. And I think certain players weren't able to do what he really wanted them to do, because it's like they have received the ball, they have to think, they have to look up and see who's available to receive the pass. It wasn't fluid.
Yeah.
And you could see in the last 4 games, like game by game, it's becoming more and more like instinct. Like the passing has become a lot more fluid. Like people don't think, they know where their next pass is going to be and where the person has to be to receive it. So game by game, you could see it improving more and more and more and becoming sharper. So that's what I really enjoyed about Newcastle, because you can see us progressing in the last 3 games. You can see a big difference. Obviously, the new signings, Kulusevski and Bentancur, I think in a way it's like, because Lo Celso and Ndombele took so long to settle, I think it's like the football karma that these guys settled instantly. It's like we were due a signing like this for them to settle instantly in the Premier League. It's so refreshing to have 2 players come in and instantly, become starters. And I think I said this, when we were losing in the Conference League, I said it's not difficult to improve our squad. Any signings would improve our squad. And it was true. 2 signings that play Champions League football improved us instantly, because our level was so low. But we're moving past that now, and I think we're heading in the right direction. So yeah, I'm so excited for the next game. It's like the gap is so big now. It's too long of a rest. It's my whole week. I'm losing my mind thinking about the next game.
Well, at least you got the Cowlin show, innit? Midweek, that helps.
Yeah. My free therapy session.
Yeah, breaks it up.
I know what you mean, Melvin. It's like finishing the game on Sunday. And I know Antonio Conte loves the week so he can prepare fully for games. But all of us fans are like, no, when we're playing like this, we want to see Spurs playing again. And of course, we're going to have to wait another few days before Saturday's game away at Aston Villa, which we'll come on to in a bit. Craig, what did you make of Tottenham's performance, 5-1 win on Sunday?
I agree with Melvin. Obviously, when we went 1-0 down, it was a bit, oh God, here we go again. There was an element of that, but I never really panicked after Ben Davies' goal went in. I could just see we was back in the game, and perhaps where in the past you think, oh, okay, we're going to sit back now. We just pushed on in that second half, and it was never in any doubt in my mind I just knew we was going to go on and win that game, which was a great feeling. Considering, you know, we have struggled against Newcastle, especially at home, in recent games, haven't we?
Do you remember the handball, Eric Dyer, in the last minute or whatever? That was horrendous.
Yeah, it was. But that game alone, we scored and sat back, didn't we? For you know, they coming onto us. And, you know, I had Anthony Costa ringing in my ears thinking Joey Linton's going to score, you know.
But he always gets it right, doesn't he, Anthony Costa?
He's right on things like that. But I didn't have that this time. It was, I thought Dan Burn, I thought he'd done a few good games. But he was, you know, Harry Kane, Sonny, just ripped him apart, really. And Bergvin come on, lovely to see him get a goal. Confidence. He's a good either backup to Kane, or not that Kane's going to get a rest, you'd think, unless he's carrying an injury, or God forbid, Harry Kane don't get injured. But, you know, across the squad, he knows, and I think we all know that first 11 picks itself more or less, doesn't it? You know, at the moment. And with Skippy coming, well, he's had a bit of a setback, I heard today. So that's a bit. I saw that on your news update, Chris, which is a shame. But let's hope we get him back before the end of the season, because we need all the players. To be fair, even Winks coming on, they're all doing the job, aren't they, at the moment? So plenty to be. Dare I say? I'm not even going to say. Let's take it game at a time. I'm not going to get too carried away, but you know, let's look forward to Saturday, and I hope we can get one over on the Villa.
Gary, how did you feel about Tottenham's 5-1 win against Newcastle?
Well, I didn't go to. I was planning on going to the game. Last minute, I didn't go. I had it on the telly, but I struggle to watch Tottenham on the TV, Chris. It's my nerves. So I'm kind of watching it, walking away, watching it. And first half, we weren't great. We were poor. Again, it's always, you know, free kicks, set pieces, corners. It was a silly foul to give away. And I did start thinking, oh, no. But I was a bit like Craig, though. I wasn't panicking or anything. And I think it was a matter of 3 or 4 minutes and we equalised. And then I kind of felt the same. I did feel like we was just going to go on and win the game and win big. And I don't particularly know. Well, I do know why, because we've scored a hell of a lot of goals in our last few games. That's why. But the confidence, once we got the equaliser, was there. I think I would have got a bit nervous and a bit worried if it had dragged out into the second half through and it was still 1-0. You know, remember when we went 1-0 up before and we just couldn't get that second goal and they got the handball, Eric Dyer. But it didn't even, you know, in the end, I mean, Craig touched on Bergwijn. I mean, he could have had a second goal. That volley was amazing and it was just over. And to be honest, we could have won that game comfortably 7 or 8, I think, you know. We had a good few chances, so I was really pleased. You know, the main thing is to get the 3 points at this end of the season. But, you know, Melvin mentioned it earlier, for goal difference as well. If it comes down to goal difference near the end of the season for that top 4th position, if we are in the running, then we're doing the right thing at the moment, because we're scoring so many goals. And just one thing I want to mention is what Craig mentioned about Skip. You know, I think the team must be playing well, because, you know, I haven't even thought about Skip at the moment. He hasn't even come into my mind. Do you remember when we were struggling? I think it was last season, and we was like, oh, we got to give Dane Scarlett a go, and we got to do this, and because we were really struggling for players. But the team's playing so good at the moment that I didn't even give Oliver Skip a thought, and that's credit to the other guys. So I think that's a positive thing, because I think when you're losing games and you're struggling, that's when you're sort of clutching at straws and you're talking about giving other players a chance and a go, because you're desperate, aren't you? But at the moment, we're not desperate. We're comfortable. So it's good. I'm really happy.
Gary, recently, Antonio Conte said if Spurs finished in the top 4, it would be like winning the Champions League. A comment now from Ben says, if we do get top 4, do you think that would be better than winning a trophy in Antonio Conte's first season? I know for me, it would feel like it. How do you feel?
Look, for me, I'm very old school. You know, I love a trophy and stuff, but you cannot deny the fact if Conte gets us top 4, I mean, that is some achievement. And would that be a bigger achievement than winning the Carabao or the FA Cup? I think it probably would be, I think. Can
I just interject there? 15 in the 15th minute of this chat, the trophy word has come out. So it's got to be a record.
And actually, it didn't come from me.
It wasn't Chris either. It wasn't. So for me, I've always been a trophy man. But look, we all know what revolves around the top four. We all know it's what the board want. You know, Conte will want that. It gives us Champions League football. It attracts bigger players. Conte and Harry Kane stay. You know, we know all the things that's going around. So
it's a snowballing effect. So
yeah. So I think if we did get top four, I think it would be bigger and a better achievement than winning the Carabao or the FA Cup. I think it probably would. What do you guys think? I think it would be, if I'm honest.
I think it would be a huge achievement. I tell you what, Gary, when you think back to some of those Europa Conference League away games that you and I travelled to together.
No, please don't make me.
That Vitesse game, how low we fell under Nuno. And to me, it's so weird. It feels like ages ago. It feels like a couple of years ago to me, Nuno being here. And now it just feels like Melvin and Craig have both said this evening so far that, you know, that positivity, that energy, the positive vibe around the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium now, it's just fantastic. It's completely different.
It's amazing. And Chris, I think you're the first to agree. I absolutely detest Vitesse. And that, you know, I mean, that was tough. And you know, the worst part of that, just such a that, is typical Tottenham and Spursy that you and me travel all over the world, go and see them, and then we get thrown out of it anyway. For it not really being our fault.
Was that where you rung me from the car park? You couldn't get your McDonald's. You had a round McDonald's.
Yeah, because I had to try and order it in a different language. I didn't know what I was doing. And Chris was out doing his show, and I was having a nightmare. Anyway, I think I ordered everything twice, so it was all right in the end.
Yeah.
But the
Spurs
food was definitely
live from Holland in a McDonald's car park.
Well, I mean, the show was a lot better than the game, wasn't it? I mean, that was an awful game, wasn't it?
Oh,
I turned my back on Ben Davis and Dele Alli. I was so angry, and they were right next to us, and I was like, nah.
What, in McDonald's?
Yeah, no.
Remember that Vitesse fan that came up to you in the car
Yeah, the two guys that come up.
Where the Tottenham players, he said, because they all stayed at home.
I remember. I was like, I don't know, mate. I was asking the same thing all game. But that's funny you say that, Melvin, because a lot of them fans, Chris, remember, a lot of them fans had come that day to see Son and Kane and stuff and weren't even actually interested in Vitesse. You know, and then they weren't there. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Well, anyway.
Before any of you give anything away, I just want to ask you a very quick question. Do you think Tottenham will finish in the top four? Melvin, let's start with you, because let's have a look at the Premier League table now. Spurs are currently fourth. We've played 30, we've won 17, we've drawn 3, we've lost 10. We have a goal difference now plus 15. We have 54 points. Arsenal, of course, have the same points. They do have a game in hand. Melvin, can we finish in the top four? Will we finish in the top four?
If you tell me, like, can you think of 5 reasons why Arsenal will finish above us? Well, I can probably give you 5. But wait. But I can probably give you 25 reasons why Spurs will finish above them. Like, we'll finish above. I can think of 30 reasons why we'll finish above Arsenal. And I can only give you and I can only give you a few reasons of why Arsenal will finish above us. So we've all been thinking about these and you know, doing maths, and all of a sudden we're all mathematicians.
I'm not very good at maths.
And XG and thinking all of this stuff. But yeah, to answer your question, I think we can do it. Why not? You have to have something you have to have a goal. If you don't have a goal or something to aim at, you know, Conte probably be looking at it and be like, oh, we have to go above Chelsea, not Arsenal.
Yeah.
He's that ambitious. He'll be looking at the table and be going, look, Chelsea is achievable. Let's go for Chelsea. Not Arsenal. Don't think about Arsenal. He'll be that ambitious about it. So listen, we'll have to aim high. If we don't do it, we don't do it. But we still have a great manager, great players, and if we don't achieve it, it's not the end of the world. I mean, we've seen the progress we've done in the last 6-7 months under Conte. You know, give him a pre-season and a couple more signings, and it's not the end of the world.
Well, I'm going to say that I think that Tottenham will finish in the top four. Melvin, was that a yes?
Yeah, it's a yes.
Yeah, Craig, yes or no?
Yes and yes. Yeah. Well, yes, we can, and yes, we will. Again, I'm not sure I could give you 30 reasons. I mean, I'd love to hear, those, Melvin. But I just think with the way we're playing at the moment, the way Arsenal, all right, one game, they were torn apart. They didn't just lose against Palace; they were torn apart. And they've had a couple of injuries. Tierney's out for the rest of the season now. Partey's injured as well. I'm not saying they're key players. In fact, I couldn't tell you who their key player is. Probably Emil Smith-Rowe, perhaps Saka. I don't know.
Yeah,
but they're going to be looking at what we're doing. We always look at other teams and think, oh God, what players are out? How are they doing? Let's just. Yeah. I think we're in a position now where we used to be like, well, we're playing so well, you can go into any game and think we're going to get a result. So, in short answer, Chris, yeah, I do actually think we will get top 4.
Gary, got a comment on the screen now. I like the answer. Give reasons why we can go above Arsenal, not predict top 4. Don't want to jinx it. Of course, we are going to go through every single game, predicting our results, all 4 of us, and then see where Tottenham and Arsenal would be. It's only a prediction, so please do get involved in the comments if you so wish. Gary, do you think that Spurs will finish in the top 4?
I've got to spoil the party, if I'm honest, and my gut feeling is I think we can finish in the top 4, but I don't think we will this season. I think we'll just come a little bit short because we're not quite there. I hope I'm wrong, but, I can't go against what I've felt and thought all season. Now, I do think we'll finish above Arsenal, but I don't think we'll finish in the top 4. I really don't, but I hope I'm wrong. Now, I say that, and I've worked out all the Arsenal games and all the Tottenham games. I will give you all those later, Chris, no doubt. And probably from working it out, we do finish in the top 4. I don't know, but because my maths is not great. But, I've had conversations like all you guys, down the gym all day today and every day and all throughout the season and at the games. And I do genuinely think we're not quite the finished article yet. And I think the best we could probably achieve would be 5th, I think.
Who do you think is going to finish 4th then?
I still think Man United.
No.
Yeah, I really do. And it pains me to say. But look, I hope I'm wrong, but I just think, you know what? And I'm not trying to throw my dummy out the pram here, but I do think VAR has a lot to do with Man United and Liverpool in particular. And I think that will help Man United near the end of the season, going into the end part. And I think they will pick the 4th spot post. I think they'll get 4th position. I really do. But look, I hope I'm wrong. I really, really do. But I just think we're going to be just a little bit short. My mate's just commented saying, matey boy at the gym, he's laughing because I'm always talking down gym. And I'll tell you just very quickly, Chris, I'll give you an example. I was in the car the other day, and it was after the Tottenham Newcastle game, which was a great win. It was an amazing win, right? And I had TalkSport on, a show you go on a lot, Chris. You've been on there. And what I found quite interesting, but also funny, was not one Tottenham fan who rang in and stuff thought we would finish in the top 4. And I think that's because we're very different to Arsenal fans and stuff like that. When Arsenal went on a little bit of a run and they got a good few wins, they were getting top 4 and every single fan was confident and knew they would just thought they were. With every single Tottenham fan that called up, not one of them thought they'd get in the top 4. And I thought that was quite interesting because I think we've had a lifetime of this. And I think when we get close to things like this, if we get a little bit too excited with it, it all goes a bit Spursy. So, and look, you're right, Craig. They did get hammered by Palace, but we did. And yes, I know we had Nuno, but they still controlled us. And I don't think there's much between Tottenham and Arsenal, if I'm being honest with you. I think they had the slight advantage over the last few games, and now we've kind of picked them there. But I think we are level pegging, and I don't think either team is actually quite good enough to get that 4th position, and I think Man United will. But I really hope I'm wrong, guys. I really, really hope I can come on this show whenever it may be, last game of the season. That was a fun one last season when we had Leicester. And we finish in the top 4, because I know I'll be sweating and screaming and eating a lot more sweets if we finish in the top 4 in the last game, Chris. But yeah,
well, no, we
that's
didn't
my
finish
thoughts.
in the top 4 last season, Garrett. It was
No.
7th. It was the Europa Conference League spot.
No, I know,
Yeah.
but I was excited because we'd have beaten Leicester with Bell's goals, remember? And I got so excited, I didn't even see the last one. But I loved it, even though it meant Chelsea got top 4.
Yeah. Melvin, let's come to you. Were you surprised by Arsenal's display and their result the other night against Crystal Palace?
Yeah, I actually was.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
I actually thought they were going to be much better than. I don't watch Arsenal, to be fair. I think I've watched them twice this season, and one of them was the game we played them. So, for them to crumble like that, yeah, they had few injuries, but I thought they'd be much better. You know, they were consistent and they've done well. And I've been, you know, it's difficult to say, but to be in the position they're in, they have to. They've built a good squad. You know, they're still young. They kind of remind me of us under Pochettino when we were starting with a young squad. You know, a bit of inexperience, but we also didn't. You know. Remember when we went to Newcastle and we lost in the last day of the season? I think something similar could happen to them. They don't have the experience that our players do. They're still a young squad. I think their whole squad haven't played one game of Champions League, and ours have.
Really?
You know, it's that kind of probably.
Oh,
Their whole
I didn't
squad
know
is
that.
full of. What player has Champions League football in their squad? Maybe.
I think
Like
is he right? I think he's right, Chris. Is he? I never thought of that before.
It's quite a long time since they've played Champions League football, though, Gary, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been what, 6 years? Is it?
Yeah. So.
It's probably right.
I think he's right, isn't he?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to work.
I'm trying to think. Yeah.
I'm trying to work it out in my head. Chris would know this. Come on, Chris, you're the stat man.
Not on Arsenal, I'm not.
No.
don't give
Come
it
on,
that.
what do
You know about Arsenal. You're curtain twitching. We know. Come on.
Oh man,
You know
you
what?
boy in the corner there.
Adrian's written a comment here about the Spurs goal difference is worth a point because to think that we scored 5 against Newcastle, Crystal Palace put 3 past Arsenal. You know, this could go down to goal difference. I know you think that Manchester United will perhaps finish 4th, Gary, but if it was between Spurs and Arsenal, the goal difference could, it could come down to goal difference. Craig, were you surprised by the Arsenal display, because they have been, up until that Crystal Palace game, they have been in good form?
Yeah, you're right. I was very surprised actually that Palace didn't put more past them. To be fair, I thought they deserved it. But in all seriousness, I didn't see that performance coming from Arsenal. I had a feeling Palace might sneak a draw. If I'm hanging my hat on that, to be honest, and I had my hopes. Turned it on. I missed the first half hour. And I couldn't quite believe what I was seeing, to be honest. But it wasn't just the fact they lost 3-0, it was the manner they lost 3-0.
Yeah.
I watched the rest of the game. They were poor. They were poor. They were rudderless. They didn't. Alexander, lack of threat. Well, he actually lived up to his name. He was no threat at all. Dreadful performance. And, it could have just been a blip. But, very interesting times. But that comment was right on the screen there. That could be worth a point. The way we've made up, I can't remember the exact amount of goals. It must be 10 over the last 2 or 3 weeks. It's incredible. Thomas, what's that name? Thomas
Hybrid squad, look.
Thomas Partey and Odegaard has played Champions League football as well.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't care really. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting, and the form almost coming into that North London derby, which is probably going to be the biggest North London derby in years, isn't it? What I mean is, it's always a big game, but the amount resting on it, that could seal Champions League football. Well, hopefully for Tottenham, obviously, but God forbid either way. But it's going to be a massive game either way.
Horrible.
But to do it against Arsenal, to get top 4. Are beating Arsenal and effectively knocking them into the Europa. My God, what a game that is going to be, and the crowd are going to be up for that. Honestly,
Gary, what do you make of the date of the game? Thursday, the 12th of May. It's in between the Liverpool away game and the Burnley home game, so it is the 3rd game from the end of the season. What do you make of the date? Happy?
I'm never really happy on midweek games, mate, for myself personally. for the players. Not ideal in between those games, but it's got to be put in there somewhere. And they were holding out for as long as they could, you know, and they're going to put it that far behind because, like what Craig just mentioned, like we're all thinking, God, let's hope it doesn't boil down to the North London derby. But it really might. I would like to think when that game came round, you know, Woolwich was well out of it, but I don't think they will be. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's a killer, mate. It's an absolute killer. I got my ticket for it like you a long time ago and was just expecting it to be a Sunday. But there we are. It's a Thursday evening. Yeah, the nerves for me, I'm nervous about it already. And it's a couple of months away, honestly, because I do really think it really is going to probably boil down to that. Oh, God, just thinking about it is making me sweat. Honestly, I can't deal with it. I hate it.
You look so stressful about it, Gary.
I hate it. Honestly, I absolutely hate it. When I'm not at the game, when I don't go to North London Derby, I cannot watch that game. The one where, what was it? Jan Vertonghen got the header. Do you remember that one? I went out in my car, switched my radio off, mobile phone off, parked up in a park and trained for nearly 2 hours. Came back, kept everything off. I was looking at people walking out of pubs to see if I could get an idea, waiting for someone to give me the thumbs up or down because of me Tottenham number plate, nothing. And I walked in the door and I thought, right, let me put it on. And I whacked it on and I saw it there. And I was able to enjoy it. And I probably watched it about 500 times after that. But it's just a horrible game to watch on the TV. It's absolutely horrendous. I hate it. It's the first game I look for, the fixture home and away. But I dread it and I hate it when it's on. You know, I can remember we beat them 1-0 once and they almost equalised near the end. I was at that game and we just couldn't get that second goal. And it was just horrible. You don't want to be drawing or just 1-0 up against them. And you certainly don't want to be losing, do you? Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I hate it and I hate them.
Do you know what, Gary? I love the North London derby when we're at home. But the way that I feel going to the Emirates Stadium,
it's just horrible, isn't it? No, it's absolutely horrible, mate. Yeah, I'm in agreement.
Melvin, are you happy with the date? Thursday, the 12th of May?
I think Liverpool have a Champions League semi-final, the fixture before. So when we play Liverpool, they have the Champions. Remember when we beat Ajax and then we played City, and we literally fielded like we didn't care about that game. Literally, Dele Alli was playing around with the ball. I'm kind of hoping that something similar could happen. You know, Liverpool, maybe they're out of the title race. They just maybe I don't care if they get to the Champions League final. I'm hoping they will. You know, it could be, and maybe we can sneak. Because in my head, I already put Anfield as a defeat. You know, Liverpool are so strong. So if we can get points from Anfield somehow, that's a bonus. But yeah, playing Arsenal after playing Liverpool is going to be tough because Liverpool are a physical side and they'll sprint and run till 90 minutes. You know, players could pick up a knock, and in 4 or 5 days, you know, it could be an issue. You know, I don't know if Conte will rotate for that game. Not Arsenal, obviously, for Liverpool. Maybe he'll play Bergwijn and rest Son to keep him fresh for the London derby because it's a big game and we're in direct conflict with them. So obviously, sacrificing Liverpool to beat Arsenal would probably be the priority. It's interesting to see what Conte will do. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. It's also going to be interesting to see which players will step up for these type of games. Because Davis scored the other day. And it's like everyone in their head is thinking, oh, we already need a left-sided centre-back. And I'm thinking if Davis keeps playing the way he is, we don't. Okay, he's a good squad player, but it's like he's stepping up, and it's like you have to. It's so the same thing with Matt Doherty. It's like these moments. It's like now it's time for you guys to step up. We've been asking these players to step up for the last 2 years, and some of them are doing it, and some of them aren't. You know, but the ones that are need to be applauded in a way, and they need to be recognized because. You know, Matt Doherty was done at Spurs. You know, I still think he's a gooner. For so long, I still think he supports Arsenal.
He does.
And I used to think when I see him play, I'm pretty sure he's playing against us. Yeah. But now maybe he's not, because I honestly used to think this guy is playing bad on purpose. Yeah.
Do you know what? Do you know what, Melvin? Matt Doherty in his last 6 Premier League games, 2 goals, 4 assists. You know, give credit where credit is due.
Yeah. Been much better.
And you know what? If because I always buy a spare shirt, and this year I haven't bought one, but I'm waiting for the London Derby. I want to see which player will score or do something. But if Matt Doherty does something in the London Derby, I'll buy one of the kits.
We'll get a statue of him outside the ground if he scores the winner.
With 2 on the back.
Yeah, I would. Have you seen those apology sheets on Twitter? It's like, I apologize to this. I'll fill one of those out for Dorothy if there's something in the London Derby.
Now, I want to talk about Harry Kane because he is in sensational form right now. Craig, let's come to you on this. Paul Merson, of course, former Arsenal midfielder, has said in the last 24 hours that Spurs are a one-man team, Harry Kane. If you take Harry Kane out of this team, then Spurs are not getting top 4. I just want to play a short clip from Antonio Conte talking about our world-class striker.
I'm happy for him because we are talking about a world-class striker. He deserves the best because he's a great worker, hard worker. This is not normal. This is not normal because usually the players that have a talent don't like to work hard because they have talent. Yeah, in my career, I didn't have a great talent, and for this reason, I work hard. But what I liked him from the first time was his availability, and he was a big example for his teammates. When you see him to work in this way, and for sure, you have the desire. You have the desire to continue to work and to work very hard. And for this reason, I want to tell him thanks because he's always a big example for everything. And I hope to give him satisfaction.
Craig, let's come to you. What do you make of Antonio Conte's comments on Harry Kane? Of course, he didn't get on the score sheet on Sunday at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium against Newcastle, but another assist and some sensational performances recently.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been in sensational form after a very slow start to the season. I think we all knew why. He's really picked it up, and he's actually acting like the talisman that we need him to be. And I hope he carries this on the rest of the season and obviously gets us in that top 4 because I think he's going to be a massive part. I wouldn't agree with Merson completely, but God, if we did lose Harry Kane, he's going to make our job a million times tougher because he is the glue that knits everything together. Let's face it. And I think having him in the team just gives all the other players a massive lift. And what I find fascinating about watching Harry Kane is when he drops deep and fires those Ericsson-like passes, if you like, you know it's going to find the man. You know it's going to be overhit. Shearer always used to talk about overhitting the pass because you watch so many crossfield passes that underhit, the defender clears it. He always overhits the pass. He knows where a striker would want that pass because he's a striker. And that's why strikers sometimes make the best crosses of the ball, which he is a fantastic crosser of the ball because he knows exactly where to put the ball. He's got so many good traits, Harry Kane, that he knows, or Son knows. Kane picks it up deep. He looks to turn. He looks up, and Son's on his bike, and that has worked time and time and time again. And even Doherty running down the left wing, you saw that a couple of crossfield passes wherever he is on the pitch. I'm confident when Harry Kane gets the ball, something's going to happen, and I think that's the key thing. Something is always going to happen with Harry Kane, whether it be getting a shot off on target or putting through a pass that's going to create a chance. And he is massively important to us. And I think, let's face it, he is the most important player to us. And just hope we can keep him fit, healthy, injury-free for the rest of the season because we need him. We need him now more than ever.
Gary, let's come to you on the same point. Antonio Conte there talking very highly about Harry Kane, absolutely adores the guy. Surely, Harry Kane, it was widely reported in the summer that he perhaps wanted to move to Manchester City, with Spurs going in the right direction again under the management of Antonio Conte, surely Harry Kane wouldn't be looking to leave Spurs in the summer, would he?
No, I don't think so. I think the fact we got Antonio Conte it sends out a big message. I think getting that manager. I mean, you know, when we was on your show, Chris, and we were going from manager to manager and that, and it seemed like a bit of a pipe dream we'd get Conte. You know, I mean, I always said that's the guy we need, but did I really think we'd get him? Probably not. But do you know, when I think about how Harry Kane was playing under Nuno and stuff, and yes, you could say some of that was because he wanted to move and everything else, but just he was playing so good under Mourinho, and then it just totally disappeared under Nuno. And you thought, where's Harry Kane gone? And now it's got to be, he's happy, he feels settled, he can see, you know, he can see stuff happening with the club and with the team. And you know, and there's so much stuff we don't see outside of football, like his family life and his personal life. And I just think he probably was thinking, like what Craig said, half thinking he's moving up to Manchester and elsewhere. He's had conversations with, you know, Levy and with the board and with Conte, and he just seems a lot happier. And when he's a lot happier, he's playing football. And the thing that I loved about the Newcastle game is because I would be more worried and nervous if it was only Harry Kane getting the goals. But because he's not getting the goals, I know he's setting quite a few up and his passing is amazing. But because we are getting other players scoring them goals, I'm more happy about that. You know, if we won our next few games and Kane didn't score, I wouldn't be worried in the slightest because he's still creating and he's still fit and he's happy and he's in a good place. And that's all that we need, you know. And he's not going to score every game. Son isn't going to score every game. But I was guilty saying that we need to rest Son for the West Ham game because I felt he played one too many games. And then look what he did against West Ham. You see what I mean? So I think in some ways, if the other players can step up and get the goals like they have, then we're in a really, really good place. We really are. And, you know, Paul Merson, yes, he has a point. But, you know, we did get to a Champions League final with Harry Kane. So it is possible. But none of us want anything to happen to Harry Kane. Of course we don't. We know all the other clubs do. But we want him fighting fit. Do we need him to score every game? No, we don't. You know, definitely not. We just need Harry Kane to be playing like Harry Kane is playing. And that's it.
Melvin, what more can all of us Spurs fans say about Harry Kane that's not been said already? And what have you made of his performances recently?
Yeah, I think, is this the best Harry Kane we've ever seen, you think?
I would probably think it is, you know. It's funny, Mel, because I was thinking that because I was looking back at old games and seasons and stuff. And I think his passing has been the best passing ever from Harry Kane, and people are comparing him to like De Bruyne and stuff, and I think he's either that level or slightly higher. So for me, I think we've got the best Harry Kane ever, my personal opinion.
Yeah, he doesn't have the same goal tally, but I think goal contributions, I think he's still up there.
Yeah.
So I think if we get top four, you know, Kane is probably one of the big reasons that we will. You know, he wants to push the club. Last summer, he wanted to leave because he felt we weren't fighting and we weren't going in the right direction. But if we do get top four, and surely Kane can see us going in the right direction right now. And getting top four would be probably the best thing that would happen to us in regards to keeping Kane for next season and, you know, him possibly signing a long-term contract, and these things can snowball, and it's vital that we just keep winning and keep performing. And I think also he's the fittest I've seen him for a long time. I think under Jose he was quite slow,
A bit slower, yeah.
I think he was still recovering from the major injury he had as well. I think he had a ruptured ligament or hamstring or something like that. And I don't remember the exact term, but I remember it was quite a bad injury. And I think it took him a season and a bit to really start. Because I think for a whole season, I didn't really see him chasing the ball, sprinting. He looked quite heavy. And even in the Euros, he looked quite tired. And this season, I've seen him, you know, beat a man with his sprinting. You know, he looks faster. He looks fitter. It's probably the lack of ketchup. You know.
Right, I now want to talk about Arsenal, and I'm absolutely delighted to bring on Sophie Nicolau from the Highbury squad. Sophie, thanks so much for joining us. Very brave of you to join 4 Spurs fans on this chat, so thanks. Now, I just wanted to start by showing a clip of Mikel Arteta after the 3-0 defeat at Crystal Palace.
The pressure has been there for the last 7 or 8 weeks. We are talking all the time about the race on the top 4, and these boys, they've been performing extremely well, getting results and playing really well. Today we didn't perform. It's as simple as that. We were second best in every department, especially in the first half, and we were trying to change in the second half, where we did, and we played much more the game that we want to play. In the final moments, we had 3 or 4 big chances. We didn't score the goal to get back and give ourselves a chance to come back in the game. No, we've got a game in hand still, and we need to play. And we know that in the 9 games, a lot of things are going to happen. We have to play each other. We have to play some big games coming up. We have to focus on ourselves. The problem that we had today is not Spurs. It was us and what we did in the first half.
It was a really good game and we played well and we managed to win. But we know as well what is difficult is to be consistent in the performance. And this is where we have to grow as a team, is to repeat those kind of performances. And this is the most difficult things to do in football. I think there is more belief in the team. Players understand better each other, start to really know each other as well. There is a clear idea about how we want to play the game, and again, like today, we scored those goals in a really important moment in the game, and I think that's way we manage the game, show that we are growing up as a team as well.
Oh, Patrick.
Sophie, a lot of us are feeling very happy being back in the top 4 at the moment. How are you feeling as an Arsenal fan right now?
I wish I'd have come on the show maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. How ironic that I come on after we got spanked by our legendary player at Selhurst Park. I was feeling, it's really funny because even before that game, I was starting to feel the stress of it. It's at that part of the season. You guys have come back from a run of bad form, playing really well. And of course, that has a lot to do with Harry Kane and Son, but your January signings as well, I think, have helped. And we didn't make any signings in January, and I always felt like, is that going to be the moment that kind of comes back to bite us in the backside, especially if, we get some injuries and key injuries, and that's kind of what has happened. I didn't expect us to be in this situation, to be honest, at the beginning of the season. I thought there would be a lot more process to take place before we were even challenging for top 4. And you could argue that maybe we've also benefited from other teams around us not having a great season, including Manchester United. So for me, I think it's important we get back into Europe. My goal for this season was, can we just be consistent? Can we be competitive in the Premier League again? And can you, Mr. Arteta, please get us back into Europe, considering you were the manager that got us kicked out of it after 20-year plus run. So that's kind of where I was at. And then here we are on this run and this ride, which I've been enjoying thoroughly, of course, as an Arsenal fan. But my goodness, we've got some really tough games coming up. And for me, we had to beat Palace, Brighton and Southampton, because we've got West Ham coming, we've got Chelsea coming, we've got Manchester United coming, we've got the North London derby, we've got a resurgent Leeds to face who are still fighting for survival, Newcastle who have done better, and Everton who are fighting for their lives as well. Not going to be easy, Chris.
Sophie, were you surprised with the result and the performance against Crystal Palace?
Yeah, I was. Listen, Crystal Palace got 4 points off Manchester City. To be honest with you, we were lucky to get a point off them at the Emirates. We got that last gasp goal from Lacazette, and we didn't play very well in that game at all. They're really well organised. They're a completely different side to Roy Hodgson, who was very conservative, and albeit he kept them up in the Premier League for years playing a little bit of negative football, Patrick has come in and completely changed their style of play. They've got some great players. They made really good signings in the summer, and they've been a tough team to beat this season. Now, was I expecting us to get our backsides handed to us on a platter? Absolutely not. We never recovered. As soon as the game started, my heart sank and I was like, wow, this is it. There's no way we're winning this game. I thought we were outmaneuvered, outcoached, outplayed. They had a lot more heart, and you would be it would be tough to figure out which team was fighting for a Champions League spot in that match. We lost the game in the first 25 minutes. We never recovered. And what a terrible night for every single Arsenal player to have their worst game of the season. I actually think it was worse than the loss at Goodison Park earlier in the season, Chris.
I've got to ask you, Sophie, while you're on. Thursday, the 12th of May, of course, it is the North London derby. Will Arsenal be turning up for this one?
I really, really hope so. I said something on our show the other day that most people disagreed with me on. I would rather have played you earlier in the season when Son was injured. And everyone kind of came at me and said, we didn't have a team. This person wouldn't have played. That person wouldn't have played. And in my mind, I'm like, it's a North London derby. Derbies are always different. Anything is possible, no matter who is playing. Of course, you want your best players to be playing. But I always felt like this game could come back to haunt us just a tad. Just like the United game at Old Trafford, the game at Goodison Park. I really felt like, let's just play this and know whether we've got the points on the board or not. Games in hand are great, but points on the board or knowing what's happened for me is even better. And that's how much I rate Son. Of course, he's a world-class player. He and Harry Kane have found their form at the best part of the season. And it's going to be an interesting game. I think you have the advantage playing at home. Losing Kieran Tierney is an absolute disaster for us. You know, Nuno Tavares did really well when he came in earlier this season, but since the Liverpool game away and then being subbed before halftime at Forest and the game at Palace, I think the kid's lost his confidence. So it's going to be, how is Arteta going to deal with that injury? And of course, Thomas Partey, I hope, will be back by the North London derby.
Sophie, who would you say, honestly, who would you say has got the better first 11, Tottenham or Arsenal?
It's a really interesting question. I think at different moments in this season, we've become more of a team as opposed to individuals. Yeah. You know, we suffered greatly from just being an apathetic individual team, which was really driven by, you know, the shenanigans of Ozil in his last 2 or 3 seasons. And, you know, there was a little bit of an army that kind of followed him in that regard. I think the one thing you can credit Arteta for is that he has built a team that believes in each other, believes in him. And I think at different times you've been a better team this season and we've been a better team. I don't think there's too much difference between us. I think the difference is Kane and Son. Yeah. Where are our goals going to come from? That is the biggest problem we have at the moment, is when we do get chances, we do not have a lethal, prolific goal scorer to bury those chances. You have 2, and 2 pretty good ones. One you could argue is one of the best in the world right now. So for us, I think that is the biggest difference in terms of the 2 teams. But other positions, I think it's fair. I think it's pretty balanced.
Sophie, do you think that the top 4 race or that 4th spot is between Spurs and Arsenal? And if it is, who is going to finish 4th?
I'm just stressed thinking about it. Woo! I don't know why. They've been absolute garbage this season, but I just will refuse to rule out Manchester United still. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of their history, because they're Manchester United, because that is a team of individuals, not a team. But the difference is their individuals can do great things. You guys witnessed that with Ronaldo, his hat-trick against you. Who saw that coming? You can see it coming with Ronaldo, but I think that game between us and them is going to be significant. If they beat us, God forbid, I think that they're well in the race. And then our game in hand is Chelsea. We got to get a result there. I think it's still between the 3 of us. I think West Ham don't have enough games to catch up, maybe. But I don't think United are completely out of it. Now, I think the difference between a lot of that too is you have a manager who's been there before. Antonio Conte is a tactician who can adapt in games. I know he's been a bit stubborn in terms of how he likes to play in defence, but this is a guy who's led Chelsea. He's been in these high-pressure situations before. Ralph Rangnick has not. Mikel Arteta has not. So that is another X factor I think that you guys have heading into these last few games of the season. And he seems to have, after his little outburst where it looked like he was going to cry and go home, you know, it's like I thought that was a stroke of genius, actually, to be honest with you.
Deliberate.
You know, deliberate, yeah. And he's got everyone on his side, and I think you guys have got a really good manager there. It tastes like vinegar coming out of my mouth, but that's the truth.
Well, while we're on that subject, then, Sophie, do you think that Antonio Conte will be lifting trophies at Spurs in the near future? You can say yes. Come on.
No, she's not.
Well, look, I tell you something that I can't believe you guys did. Right, sacking Mourinho 4 or 5 days before a League Cup final was probably one of the biggest mistakes Tottenham have made in years.
Stupid.
And you know, if there was a man, he won the League Cup for United, he won the Europa League for United. I actually thought that if he was going to be the manager going into that, I think you could have won that. Antonio Conte is definitely a manager who can win things. The big question, just like us, is are your owners going to back him? Are they going to give him the tools and resources he needs in order to be able to do that? He's a big name player. He likes to spend money. And if your chairman doesn't give him that, then I think you'll continue to struggle to win trophies. And I'm sure Spurs fans, you know, would love even an FA Cup or a League Cup at this point.
Anything.
Totally. Melvin, you've got a question for Sophie, have you?
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
I don't have many Arsenal friends, so I might struggle to speak to you a little bit.
Well, my brother's a Tottenham fan, so
No way.
Yep.
Oh,
How does
Yep.
that work then? That can't be easy.
I'll tell you, this is our house, right? My dad and my sister are Manchester United fans. My brother's a Tottenham fan, and I'm an Arsenal fan. And our family is mixed. Like, a lot of my uncles are Arsenal fans. A lot of my cousins are Tottenham fans. So family events are never fun, and we never ever get together when it's the North London derby. So
No, yeah, can understand that. Yeah.
That sounds like a nightmare to me. My
It
father
is.
laid the law, and he said Spurs only. So anyway, my question is: Spurs found themselves in first position a few years ago under Mourinho because we had, a couple of easy fixtures, and all of a sudden people were talking about Spurs winning the league. But obviously, then we played a couple of the big boys, and we quickly found our position back in 6th and 7th. Do you think there's an element of that with Arsenal's fixtures, how they finally found themselves in the conversation for top 4, having not played Spurs, Man United, Chelsea, West Ham? Do you think there's an element of that?
100%. I mean, we could still finish 7th. That is not, that is, that's the reality. Now, that's not me being negative, and it's just, we're facing teams who are very good, have been good this season, albeit inconsistent as well. But there is a likelihood that we could absolutely finish 7th. And if we do, I think that's a massive disappointment. And, a lot of my fellow Arsenal fans who are huge Arteta supporters, some are not. I just think if you're the guy that got us kicked out of Europe by the man that you replaced, and you don't get us back in there, and you've had 3 seasons to do something, you have to really start asking questions about whether or not, he's a closer. Granted, I think we're still, we've got a very young team, and it's showing. Our young players are mature, but we have a naivety to us as well at times, and that can cost you in really big games, and how are they going to operate under the bright lights? On Monday night, we choked, and that's the truth. But can we play really well? Can Saka turn it on? Emile Smith-Rowe, Martinelli, Gabriel, absolutely. Cedric's done really well stepping in for Tomiyasu, who's been a revelation this season. But you could argue maybe we haven't missed him as much as we thought we would, because he's done a decent job. I know some people have question marks about Thomas Partey, but really, if you watch Arsenal week in, week out, he is absolutely vital to our team in partnering Xhaka. And I know Xhaka's not the long-term answer, but for now, they're the best option that we have, and they're doing a pretty good job. Lacazette has completely lost his way in terms of, you know, he's just, the last 2 games, when he doesn't score, he still offers something because of the way he plays. But when he doesn't offer that, he doesn't offer much. And I think that we've got some really big decisions to make in these next couple of games. Who plays left back? Who plays up front?
Gary, have you got a question for Sophie?
Yeah, I was just going to say, actually, I didn't think I'd agree with you, but we agreed on the same thing, because no one is. I must admit, Sophie, there's been times I've been watching you on Sky Sports News, and I tell you, oh God, you've been really stressing me out with your. But to be honest, I really wanted to disagree with you, but we're actually on the same page, because I said exactly the same about Man United, and no one is giving Man United a chance, or even think they've got to look at top 4. The only thing I think you did leave out about Man United, which is in their benefit as well, is VAR. And I know people will say, oh, you know, it's fair and it's honest and it's, you know, it's with every team it's the same, but it really isn't. And VAR will be a big, massive thing for me. Probably when you got to play the guys, VAR will play a big factor in that game for Man United. And I think, you know, I said to Chris, he was asking our opinions. Do you think you're going to get the top 4 and the other? And no one mentioned Man United apart from you and me. And you can't write them off. And the reason you can't write them off is because of the Ronaldos and stuff like that. You know,
and De Gea. De Gea is saving them this season. I'm glad that we're playing them at the Emirates and we're not playing them at Old Trafford for those reasons that you have said.
Yeah, because there is a definitely an advantage for them with VAR and stuff when they're at home, and I don't care what anyone says. It's evident. You see it in so many games. I think the fact you've got them at home, if you turn up, you'll beat them.
Yeah,
you know, it's as simple as that. You know,
I think for us too, it's like I don't make excuses in that we found ourselves in this situation now.
Yeah.
There's no excuses. Everyone's had to deal with injuries. Everyone's had to deal with thin squads. Everyone's had to deal with, you know, the ramifications of the pandemic. You know, at the end of the day, it was in our power to bring in more signings in January. We did not do that. Is that going to be the thing, like I said when I first came in, that unravels us? But now we're here. I think it's a shame. Even if we get 5th, for me, again, it's not an excuse. We've got to get back into Europe because we've got to sign a different type of player. You can't keep signing Tomiyasu's and Ben Whites, and I love those players, and I think a lot of Arsenal fans have grown to love them. But if we want to grow and we want to really compete, we've got to bring in more experienced, world-class players. We can still attract that because we are the Arsenal Football Club, but European football is really important to the modern-day player. Yeah.
If you did finish, sorry, Craig, just very quickly, if you did finish 4th, do you think that's an overachievement for Arsenal this season then?
It's a really good question. I think yes, because we've got the youngest squad in the Premier League. So to achieve that with the youngest squad, I would say yes, to put it simply. Yeah. I do.
Sophie, I think it's fair to say, would you say your telling moment out of your fixtures, it seems to be the run you hinted at earlier, or mentioned earlier, where you got Chelsea away, United at home, West Ham away, and then Leeds at home. I think those 4 games for me before the North London derby is going to be your tipping point, or not, so to speak, isn't it? Would you agree with that?
Yes. I don't know about how you guys feel. Part of me was, I'd rather know. I know this is just being such a typical fan of our rivalry, right? I would rather know the outcome of what's going to happen in Europe before we get to that penultimate game of the season.
Me too.
The idea of going into that game...
Horrible.
You know, it was horrible enough watching the Liverpool-Tottenham Champions League final. That was like a really horrific night.
It was worse for us.
And I'm sure for you, years and years of being abused by Thierry Henry and winning the league at White Hart Lane was really tough to watch.
There's Sophie. Sophie's in the room now.
You had to get that in, yeah.
Thanks for
coming, you know, this is Chris's house. I'm trying to be respectful, Gary.
I thought you were being way too nice. I thought this isn't the Sophie I've seen on Sky Sports.
Just saving it to the end. So yeah, I mean, it's to lose that match for either one of us would be horrific.
Horrible.
It would be absolutely horrible. To miss out on Europe is one thing, but to lose North London derby and miss out in that manner is just horrible. So yeah, I'd rather know the outcome before then.
Sophie, final question for you. Who do you think that will finish above, Spurs or Arsenal? Who's going to finish higher?
Oh, it's a tough one.
I got to stick with my boys.
Yeah.
You know, I think you still have a banana skin game in you. I actually fancy Aston Villa to maybe get a point this weekend. I don't know what it is. Steven Gerrard's very up and down. That team's up and down. He looked pretty peeved the other day. He's said a lot of things. I think he's riled his players up. I think you turned them over earlier in the season, didn't you?
Yeah.
But Liverpool's going to be tough for you, right?
Yeah, no.
That's going to be the toughest fixture.
Oh, yeah.
But don't you guys feel like you still have one of those? We went and spanked Newcastle 5-1. We beat City. We lose to Burnley. Don't you feel like you still have that game in you?
I do.
Christ, every week.
I don't think just Liverpool. I think Brentford will be a difficult one for us. I think that will be the one with Ivan Toney and stuff. That'll be tough.
Can I ask one thing? I think something that's gone under the radar is this is the first London derby with the full capacity. So have you been to our stadium? And I'm just curious, what do you think of the atmosphere would be like, and if you're going or not? I don't know.
Well, it's a nice stadium. It's kind of been your trophy for the last 3 years.
Fingers crossed. She's got her fingers crossed as she says it.
I mean, it's really been like the Tottenham trophy for the last 3 years. If I hear one more commentator say, "Oh, it's magnificent," I mean, I mean, Stan Kroenke's built quite a stadium out here, the LA Rams. That's an insane stadium. But I would rather, Melvin, that it was our place. I think, with it being that first one and back, I think you have all of the advantages to go on and, and you got the crowd behind you, which, as you know, in a North London derby is half the battle mentally. So. Yeah, it is going to be quite the occasion. I'm actually coming home for the Chelsea, Man United, West Ham games, and then I'm going to be in Cyprus for the North London derby. But maybe I might change my ticket now they've announced the date.
Yeah, it will be one hell of a game.
About this game, I have the same feeling about this fixture.
What do you guys think? Like, honestly, what are your thoughts on that? Do you fancy yourselves? Do you think you're going to nick fourth spot? Do you fancy yourselves in the North London derby?
I do. I fancy ourselves in the
fourth, and I think we'll win the North London derby. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I think we'll win the North London derby, but I don't think we're going to finish in the top four. I don't know.
Our listeners will like Gary.
I think at best we could finish fifth. And that would be a real push. But from the start of the season, I've always predicted sixth. And I don't see anything really changing my mind. But with all the fixtures that's left and what I've worked out, it probably means we may finish in the top four. So that will make no sense at all. I just don't think we've got quite enough to get in that top four this season, if I'm honest with you.
Well, you guys can't afford injuries either, can you?
No.
And every now and again, there's always a Kane Son injury in the season. Son earlier, but are they fully fit now? Can you give me some good news? I
think they are fully fit, but it's not even injuries with them. Sometimes Son and Kane just don't turn up, and Son can go sometimes as much as half a dozen games and be really quiet and miss easy chances. So you just don't know what's going to happen with Son and Kane. Harry Kane's on fire at the moment, yes. But Son is really hit and miss a lot with Son. He's the real worry, more so than Kane, I think.
Does Lloris still have a mistake in him?
100%, yeah. His first goal against Newcastle, that was a mistake, a big one. Yeah,
you should have saved that. Okay, feeling a little bit better now, Chris.
Thank you, Sophie. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us, and tell everyone where they can find you on social media and your podcast.
I'm at Soccer Diva on Twitter and at Highbury Squad on all social and YouTube. If we actually have a couple of Spurs fans who are really nice and come and listen to
We're all
our
nice.
show.
Yeah, we're all
Nice.
But you guys have been very nice, and Gary, you're right. I was trying to be on my best behaviour, but I had to get the win in the league at White Hart Lane in there.
Yeah,
'Cause-
you weren't fooling me. I see you on Sky Sports in the mornings. I'm fully aware of it.
Sophie, before you go,
Yeah.
Chris don't mind. Can I just get, because we're going to go on to predict how we think the results are going to go. Can I just run through quickly? Just give me a quick fire. How you see our results going, because it's going to be interesting to match you against us, because we're deluded and you're clearly no more than we do.
All right.
Aston Villa, Tottenham.
2-2.
Oh.
2-2. Okay. Tottenham, Brighton.
3-1 to you.
Brentford, Tottenham.
Ooh.
Yeah.
2-1 Brentford.
Ooh. Ericsson to score. You don't have to commit to that.
Oh wow! How poetic would that be? Keep me on here a little bit longer, and you'll see Sky Sports Morning, Sophie. Get in, come on.
Oh,
Taken out injured.
Shouldn't have even said that. Tottenham, Leicester.
I think you'll beat Leicester 2-0.
Yeah. Liverpool, Tottenham.
Are they playing in the Champions? What date is that game?
Yeah.
They have the semi-final a few days before.
But they also have VAR, remember, because it's at their ground.
Yeah, and also you don't really fare well against them, do you?
No.
I'm going to say I'll say 3-1 Liverpool.
Yeah. Okay. Or next one, North London derby.
2-2.
Yeah.
2-2. Sit on the fence. I like it. Tottenham, Burnley.
4-0 Tottenham.
Yeah.
Oh, take
It
that.
was before, wasn't it? Or was it 5-0 before?
5, I think. And
Yeah,
Norwich,
5.
Norwich, Tottenham.
Oh
Norwich,
wow,
Tottenham.
that'll be the. What was it? What was that? The last game of the season, you lost 5-1 to Newcastle. Do you remember that? And everyone was expecting you to batter Newcastle. And
yeah, I remember it. Thanks for reminding us.
Yeah. I think he'll revert. Let's reverse it. 5-1 to Tottenham against Norwich.
Mm.
Yeah,
so that's 14 points. So Spurs would finish on 68 points.
And well, I haven't given you our results, but yeah, we'll finish on 69. That's a nice round number.
Easy.
It's a good position to be in.
Yeah, job done.
Sophie, thanks so much for joining us, and I hope that you would come back just before the North London derby to give us your thoughts.
Yeah, would love it, and be great to have one of you guys on our show too. So I'll reach out to you, Chris. Thanks for having me, and enjoy the rest of the show. Thanks to everyone in chat as well. Thank you.
Thanks,
Sophie.
Cheers. Take care.
Cheers.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Come on, you Spurs.
Well, there you go. 68 points and 69 points. Well, I hope that's wrong.
I mean, she was very nice, but the true Arsenal fan came out in the end, though, didn't it?
Right, exactly what Craig done there with Sophie. I think that all four of us should do that now. Let's go through Tottenham's games. Of course, we've got 8 games left in the Premier League. Aston Villa this Saturday, 5:30 p.m. kickoff. Let's do the predictions. I'm going to go for a 3-2 Spurs win for this one, Aston Villa. Craig, what are you going for?
Do we need to give out the score? Because it doesn't really matter.
You can give us a score, or you can give us 3 points, 1 point, or no point. It's up to you, Melvin. Just for a bit of fun, I thought I'd do the scores.
Yeah, I've even worked this out to goal difference as well. Aston Villa 0, Tottenham 2. I've gone for.
So you're going for 3 points?
3 points. Yeah.
Gary?
Yeah, I've gone for Aston Villa 1, Spurs 3.
Okay. Melvin?
1-0 Spurs.
Right, so we're all saying we're going to beat Aston Villa. So, same weekend, Arsenal play Brighton at home at the Emirates. I think that Arsenal will win that one 2-1.
I've said the same, 2-1 Arsenal.
I've said 1-0 Arsenal.
Yeah. And Melvin?
1-1.
1-1, 1 point. Okay.
Like
we then play Brighton at home. I've gone for a 2-0 Spurs win. Craig?
Ditto.
Yeah.
I've gone 3-0 Tottenham on that one.
Melvin?
1-0.
There you go. So we've got 6 points out of 6.
Imagine it was this easy.
Exactly. Arsenal's next game, Southampton away. I've gone for a 1-1. Craig?
1-1. Same.
Have you copied my answers?
Hang on, I sent you mine earlier.
I've gone for Southampton to win that 1-0.
Okay, no points.
Yeah, no points on that. Very good team. Very difficult team, Southampton.
Melvin?
Arsenal have a terrible away record as well.
Yeah, especially Southampton.
They play 6 away games and they have a terrible away record. And 3 of them are in the top 5 teams.
Yeah.
So
Southampton's a very tough place to go, man.
Yeah, they beat us.
Yeah.
Plus, Kyle Walker-Peters is going to score. I'm convinced.
Yeah, he's on fire for them, isn't he?
I'm convinced he's going to score or do something. You know,
Melvin, what are you going for?
Kyle Walker. I don't know. I don't know. I say draw as well.
Draw. So the game after that, as you've mentioned, Christian Eriksen back at Brentford. Brentford away. That's going to be a difficult game, I think. But I still think we're going to win it 2-1. Craig?
Come to me first next time because I've put 2-1 Tottenham as well. So
I'm going completely different to everyone on this, like all the results so far, because I've gone for a 2-2 draw on that game.
2-2 draw. Okay.
Yeah, I just think after we got to get it in what they did to Chelsea. I think they'll be up for the next few games, and they dismantled Chelsea. They absolutely battered them. So I think they're at home. They'll get a draw off us, I think.
Melvin, what are you going for?
I don't know. I wrote down that we would win against Brentford.
Yeah.
But I think we can slip up somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's 3 out of 3 for me, Melvin, and Craig so far.
Yeah.
Chelsea away. Arsenal played Chelsea away. What do you think? I think that they're going to lose that one 2-1.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've got. I've got Chelsea to. I have, mate. Honestly, that's exactly what I've got.
Arsenal are not going to score. Arsenal are not going to score.
I'm with Melvin on that. Not the score line, but I've gone for Chelsea to win that 3-0.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't see Arsenal scoring many goals.
No, I can't. No, not against Chelsea. No. I know they've got a good record against them in general, but not this time around.
They beat them last season.
Yeah.
They beat them last season.
Chelsea got a lot of prove after that result with Brentford as well, so they'll be going for it the rest of the season.
We then play Leicester at home.
Hang on, Chris, go back to Arsenal Man U, because just to bring it all in line, I think they play Arsenal Man U after our Brentford game. So, sorry, I'm telling you what to do on your own channel.
I think Arsenal are actually going to win that 1-2-1.
Yeah, that's what I put. I put the same.
I've gone 1-0 Arsenal.
Yeah, I think they'll be a bit too strong for Man U, unfortunately, but I hope I'm wrong on that one.
Melvin?
No, I think Arsenal lose that one.
Lose it?
Hope so.
Lose or draw. I can't see them winning. I can't. I don't know.
A draw might be the best result for us, though. At that time, you don't know, do you?
Yeah, that's true, because 2 points dropped for both of them. So
I think
a draw is probably what we want. So let's hope it is.
It depends how long Thomas Partey is going to be out, because if that's why I keep saying they're going to drop points. But if he gets in,
I don't know how serious his injury is. I don't know how long that's going to be. So yeah, not sure.
Leicester at home for us. I'm going for a 1-1.
I've gone for a 3-1 win against Leicester. I think we'll comfortably beat them. We're pretty good against Leicester.
I've gone the draw on that one as well. 1-1. Honestly, we covered each other's bloody scores.
You didn't give out your score predictions earlier on the show, did you, Chris?
You know, it's funny, actually. I've gone for a 1-1 or I've gone for a draw, but that fixture is normally a very, very high-scoring fixture.
Yeah, that's why 3-1 Spurs. There's always goals in that. We've done them 4-2 at their ground, the other one. There's always goals. Melvin,
what are you going for?
I think we'll beat Leicester as well. The first 4 games, I think we'll win.
Okay. So it's only Melvin, actually. Melvin and Craig. Oh, no, you've gone for a draw. So it's only Melvin that's gone for 4 out of 4 wins for our next 4 Premier League games.
Yeah, Anthony Costa right now is probably pulling his hair out.
Well, right. We then play Liverpool away. it's a very, very difficult place for Tottenham to travel to. We very, very rarely get anything.
I'll go first on that. We're gonna lose that one 3-2, and they'll get a penalty, a VAR decision as well. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
I think you probably gathered that I will never ever say Tottenham will lose. So I've gone for a 1-1 draw.
We're jinxed. We're jinxed at Anfield, unfortunately. You know, everyone's against us. Not just the team. It's VAR. It's everything. The officials. It's just not going to happen.
I've gone for a Liverpool 3-1 win.
You've gone for a defeat, Craig.
I have.
Melvin, what are you thinking? Liverpool away.
I think I wrote it down as a loss. But knowing it depends what Conte does, because if let's say he rests Son and puts in Bergwijn, knowing that we have the London derby in 5 days, there's still 5 days between the Liverpool game to the Arsenal game, so there's enough rest time. But obviously, you want these players to be fresh.
Yeah,
I think the fixture that scares me the most out of all these, funnily enough, is Burnley. Because we play them 3 days after the North London derby. So if we really need the points, and you know what happened to West Ham when they played us after the Europa League, tie, and they played 120 minutes. Obviously, we're not going to play 120 minutes, but we're going to be playing Arsenal at 100 miles per hour.
Yeah, high pace. Yeah.
High pace, and then 3 days later we have to play Burnley. So that's
listen. I just hope Romero don't get sent off, because that's the game I'm going to be really worried about him, I tell you.
The only small mercy, Melvin, is Arsenal go to Newcastle a day later, so that's a long old trip as well. So
that's true.
Well, let's go into May for Arsenal. They play West Ham away. I've gone for a 1-0 West Ham win, because West Ham normally do pretty well at home against Arsenal.
I've gone 1-1.
1-1?
Yeah,
Gary?
I've gone the same 1-1 on that, but I am secretly hoping West Ham might turn them over. So I think you could be right on that, Chris. So I was that was a difficult one for me to decide on, but I went for a draw in the end.
So I said Liverpool loss, Arsenal for West Ham lose.
Well, Arsenal will lose that.
Yeah.
But you know what, Craig, to be honest, a draw in that might be what we need.
2 points out of 5 matches.
Yeah. That's Melvin, man. Good old Melvin. He don't mess about.
I'd love it if these results come true.
Oh, it'd be brilliant.
That's Melvin on the show on the 9th of April, 16th of April, 23rd of April.
Yeah. If he gets his results right, I'll tell you, all this jinx thing is out the window. It can't be said anymore about Melv.
Can you send me a photo of that, Chris?
We need to transfer Melvin to the Highbury squad and let him go on their podcast.
Yeah.
That's what we need to do.
No, that'd be a nightmare for me.
Let's go for another Arsenal game. Leeds United at home. I've gone for a 3-1 win for Arsenal. What have you gone for, Craig?
I've gone as good as I like. I love to watch Leeds play, but I think Arsenal will turn them over 2-0. But I know Leeds love to beat Arsenal. They hate them. The Leeds fans detest Arsenal. So it pains me to say it. I just think Arsenal have too much fun.
Gary, what are you going for?
Yeah, high-scoring game. I've gone for a 3-1 Arsenal in that. I think they'll just have a bit too much of them. Leeds' defence is terrible, let's be honest. But they always get a goal, don't they, most of the time? So, but 3-1 Arsenal, unfortunately.
Melvin, what are you going for?
I'll give it to Arsenal. I think they'll win that one.
Right, and then
Adrian's very confident there. Well done, Adrian. Yeah. If they come in, Adrian, I'll tell you what, mate. I'll buy you a drink. Look at that. Whew.
Right, so then it is the North London derby.
Yeah.
I think Spurs will win that one 2-1.
I've gone for 2-0. I don't even want Arsenal to get a goal. I don't want there to be any nerves in that game. I just want us to win that game 2-0. That's it.
2-1 for me as well.
Yeah. Melvin, what are you going for?
3-0 Spurs.
Oh, God, I'd love it. Harry Kane hat-trick, Melv. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
I think if we're above them and they have to come to our place and try to win, I think that'd be the ideal case. Because if they try to play football with us, we'll just. I think we can really hurt them.
Yeah. I hope so. I really do.
So the last 2 games of the season, Burnley at home, I've gone for a 4-0.
I've gone 2-0 Tottenham.
Yeah, I've done the same. I've gone 2-0 Tottenham. I know we tend to be very, very good against Burnley at home, but there's a lot of games leading up to that. And I think we'll be the better team, but we won't have anywhere near as many chances as we have in like previous games. So I think it will be a 2-0.
Melvin, what are you going for?
Why are you laughing, Chris?
0-0.
Oh.
0-0. Melvin, you've
Yeah.
only predicted 1 defeat so far for Spurs.
Yeah. We have
Yep.
4 home games and 4 away games. If we
0-0
all-
Tottenham Burnley at home.
Yeah.
Really?
If we have 4 home games, if we win all 4 home games, all we have to do is lose 1 away and draw 1 away and win the other 2.
Easy when you say it like that.
I love it when people say, all we've got to do.
All we've got to do. Yeah. All we've got to do.
All we've got to do is win our remaining 8 games. And
Yeah,
we're
that's all.
at least.
That's all we got to do. Yeah.
That's it.
We're there. We're there.
Arsenal play Newcastle away. I've gone for a 1-1 draw with Kieran Trippier to score a fantastic free kick.
Yeah, nice. I've gone 2-2.
Yeah. I've gone 2-0 Arsenal on that one.
Oh, yeah. Away at Newcastle.
Yeah.
You've gone for an Arsenal win?
2-0. I just think Newcastle will be safe by then and they'll be on the beach.
Yeah, okay.
What are you going for, Melvin?
I don't think them fans will
1-0
allow
Arsenal.
that.
No.
And then final day of the season, Norwich City away for Tottenham. I've gone for a 3-0 win.
I've gone Tottenham 2-1. 2-1 win to Tottenham.
You don't even need to ask me, Chris. You might as well just duplicate what you've put down because I've put exactly the same.
Have you got nearly every score the same?
We have.
We
I
keep
think, yeah.
we keep conceding according to you guys. No clean sheets.
No, 3-0. 3-0.
Ah,
Tottenham.
3-0.
We're-
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
3-0
I've done a
Tottenham.
few clean sheets. Not many, though. There was one at
Yeah.
Burnley, one at Brighton,
You know what we
I've gone
didn't.
with 3.
one at
You know who
Arsenal.
we didn't. You know who we didn't mention today at all? Romero.
I did.
We were
I
talking
mentioned him.
We will talk about him in a minute, Melvin.
Yeah.
That is on the list of things to talk about. Melvin, what are you going for Norwich away?
For Spurs,
Yeah.
Yes, Spurs, yeah.
we play Norwich away.
Yeah, last game.
Final day of the season.
Okay. I don't know. 1-0 Spurs.
1-0.
Yeah.
They'll be relegated and we'll be going in that 4th spot, or we'll be there already.
Yeah.
1-0, okay.
92nd minute goal.
Oh, God.
Oh, wow, no, don't put it through. And then Arsenal play Everton at home on the final day of the season. I've gone for a 3-0 Arsenal win.
I've gone 2-0 Arsenal win.
Yeah, I've gone 2-0 Arsenal.
Melvin?
2-0 Arsenal.
Right, while I add those up, Melvin, you wanted to talk about Christian Romero. What have you made of Christian Romero this season?
It's our Van Dijk in a way. It's crazy. It's because he revolutionized the defense. He's so good, and it's like it's fine because I see pictures of him on Twitter and I go like this to my girlfriend. I'd be like, "Look how good looking this guy is." It's like, look at his ears. Like, don't even slow him down. It's funny. It's funny when you see players like that, and it's like, you know how you start to fall in love with these players. They're so he's a nasty and dirty player, but he plays for us, so you like him.
Yeah.
Like if he played for Chelsea or Arsenal, I'd be like, I hate that guy.
Like Costa.
Yeah.
But because my friend was watching the Man U game with me, and he doesn't support Spurs, he's neutral, and he was telling me he's a dirty player, that guy, but he plays for us, so I love him.
Yeah, but we that's what we were missing, wasn't it? We were missing that, you know.
Yeah.
You know, what did Jose say? The C word.
You're not nasty enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
While
I don't know if I can say it.
While Chris is working out the scores, just a few stats that I've looked up that might give people either crumbs for comfort or delusions of grandeur. Chris will confirm in a minute, but I've said we'll finish on 73 points now. But I think actually we'll need 72 points to secure top 4. We've got 54 at the moment with 8 games left. The average required points over the history of the Premier League, when it's been 20 teams, to get top 4, the average is 72.
Oh, 73.
So it would mean 6 wins from the remaining 8 games. We've had 54 points or more 8 times at this stage of the season after 30 games. We've made top 4 on all but one of those occasions. So that's basically, we've had 54 or more points and we've made top 4. You know, we've only not made it once. So just little crumbs of comfort and looking at stats, I think it is a good indicator. It doesn't always mean that's what's going to happen, but it's a good... you know.
Another thing, last season, out of these 8 games, we won 6 of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we lost 2, 1 to Liverpool, and I cannot remember the other one.
Well, we need to go on a run, and out of those 8 games, I've said 6 wins and 2 draws. I know some people may think that's a little optimistic, but interestingly, the stats here, all of the results that we just gave, and I know Craig was very similar to mine, but Melvin and Gary, I've said all of the results, and my total is 74 points for Spurs.
Yeah.
All of your 3 totals are 73 points, 1 point behind me. So it's all very, very similar.
So the optimistic one.
Even the results that I gave, I've come the same points as them.
73 points, Gary, you think that Spurs will end up with. Melvin 73, Craig 73, me 74. Now,
so I thought I gave more draws and defeats than anyone else.
No, I'm saying at the end of the season, Arsenal will have 68 points, so we'd be 6 points ahead of them. Gary, you're also saying 68 points.
Am I? Oh, blimey, okay.
Craig has given the most to Arsenal with 70 points.
Really?
And Melvin has given the least with 65.
That probably sounds about right. Yeah, wow. How crazy is that?
And interestingly, and thanks for those stats, Craig, talking about the teams finishing in the top 4 or finishing 4th the last 4 seasons. Liverpool in the 17-18 season finished with 75 points. Spurs finished in the 18-19 season with 71. Chelsea finished in the 19-20 season with 66, and last season with 67. Does that make you
67?
67, yeah.
Wow. I think what we do need to happen in is some of them games that we were talking about with Arsenal stuff. Probably a few draws would be handy, wouldn't they? You know, like the Arsenal Man U game. I think a draw at that stage would be a good result. Even the West Ham Arsenal game. Because then it gets, I don't think West Ham are in the running really, but you don't know over the next few games. But if they was draws on both them games, it's probably the ideal results for Tottenham, thinking about it.
But interestingly, Gary and I have given Arsenal 68 points.
Yeah.
But when Sophie was on earlier, she gave Spurs 68 points. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, it is what it is, isn't it?
That is interesting.
Goal difference.
Goal difference. Exactly,
I wanted to say that to her before she left. Remember these 2 words, goal difference. And I think before we started, that's what I said to you guys.
What are we? +5 on Arsenal, are we? What are we?
We're +15, they're +10.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I think there's a chance we could, get top 4 just because of goal difference.
Yeah, it could come down to that though, isn't it? Yeah, see it there. Wow. Look. So tight,
last question for you all. Gary, let's start with you. Who's been your player of the season for Spurs so far?
Oh, God, that's a tough one. I don't want to go for the obvious choice because, hang on, I got him on here. I don't know if you can see him. He's been absolutely amazing. And I really do think this has probably been the best Harry Kane ever. And do you know what? I just absolutely love his vision for passing. I mean, some of them passes, he's flicking outside of his foot, inside of his foot, timing the runs perfect to get that ball go. Listen, Romero's been amazing. The 2 guys from Juventus, they've been great. A lot of the boys have stepped up, but for me, it just has to be Harry Kane because he's the whole package. And do you know what? Talking about Harry Kane, like the interview with Conte, for someone who's so good and knows he's so good, he never sort of, he's not like a Pogba. He gives everything in every game. He turns up for training. He's there, he's early. I know start of the season, it was a bit iffy. He wasn't going to turn up for training. But since he's got himself settled now, he has been by far the best example of a player for Tottenham Hotspur. So for me, 100% Harry Kane. He is at the moment the best striker in the world. He really is. Yeah.
Gary, who's been your most improved player as well?
I would probably say I like Romero, and I didn't like Romero at the start because he used to really frustrate me how much he got booked. And I was always on a knife's edge with Romero. I think he's going to get sent off and stuff like that. But his passing, his defending, and what Melvin touched on, his aggressiveness for the game. And that's what we didn't have. Chris, you mentioned it when we lost to Chelsea. You know, at home, it was 0-0 half-time. We lost 3-0. And none of them players, you know, when you think about the Battle of the Bridge and then North London derbies where we were going for it, we didn't have a player like that. But we've got that player with Romero now. And it's not that he's just got the aggression and the passion for the badge in the club. He's got the skills as well. I mean, that Newcastle game, do you remember that like last-ditch block he done? That would have been a goal. I mean, how he got his body across and over in time to block that. And his tackling is absolutely amazing. But I am always on eggshells with Romero because he's one of them guys, if he gets that tackle a split second wrong, he could be sent off. But most of the time, he gets it spot on. So his tackling is amazing then. See what I mean? So for me, Romero, I think. Romero, yeah.
Melvin, your player of the season so far?
Kane. It has to be Kane. If you look at the reason we're within a shout for top four, the Man City game at the Etihad where we won, you know, Kane played amazing that game. Yeah. And we got the victory in the last second of the game. Against Leicester, Bergwijn scored 2 goals, but Kane was feeding those through balls. Without Kane, that never would have happened. I think many games before you said, Gary, we got to the Champions League final without Kane. Yeah, I agree with you there. But I think this season, a lot of the victories wouldn't have happened.
100% agree with you. He has been the backbone of that team.
Yeah. We replaced Eriksen with Kane pretty much, and he's feeding those balls to
amazing his passing, isn't it?
Yeah, he has to win it this season. I know every year we say he's the best player, and then end up giving it to Son and Sissoko and whoever. It's funny because sometimes Spurs fans, we know he's the best player at the club, but we still end up giving it to like the most improved or the most. I think Kane has to get it this season. He has to get it. He stepped up, even though in the beginning of the season he wanted to leave and he wasn't playing at his best. But I think this is the best Kane we've ever seen. Yeah, and even though he's not getting the goals like Salah is getting, he's getting the contributions and he's affecting the game. And I'd like to see him, you know, play against Arsenal, score 2 goals, go to Anfield and score 1 or 2 goals. I want to see him grab these games, these big games, and completely and win them. Because I remember he used to play well against Arsenal and he was consistent for the length of the season, but sometimes in big games he went quiet, especially in finals. And I think under Conte he might be able to be a big game player like Son is and Lucas used to be. So
and you know what, Mel, you're right when you say that, because the other thing we also want to see is we want to see Harry Kane playing Champions League football, because a player of that caliber who's that good, he needs to be playing against Champions League team. He has to be. You know, he really does.
Can I say this last thing? I'm not privileged to live in England. I would love it if I lived in England, and I guess this is to the fans, but you have to remember when they go into the stadium that we're fighting for top 4 and what it means to us. It would mean that Harry Kane would probably stay with us till the end of his career. We'd probably beat top 4 and go above Arsenal again for the 7th time in recent years. The fans need to remember this going into the stadium, and they need to create this atmosphere like it was at the last season of White Hart Lane. It needs to be rocking these last 4 home games, because it can make a difference. And if it's like that from the beginning, I cannot see us losing the last 4 games. And it's if I was a season ticket holder, I think I'd lose my mind. I'd lose my voice. I don't think I'd be able to behave myself in the stadium.
No.
I went to one game where Chris took me into the quiet section, and I was going to lose my mind because I couldn't contain myself where Chris sits.
Funny, you don't take me in the quiet section, Chris. Why is that?
Melvin needed the quiet section because he'd had far too much to drink.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't drink, you see. Mine's just sweets. But Melv, you know, you probably would have loved to have come to England, but not now with the fuel price increase, mate, and the gas and the electric. You don't want to be in England now, mate. It's too expensive.
Yeah, we're lucky. I think we're lucky to have these last 4 home games into that stadium, and I think the fans will generate that atmosphere. This fixture against Arsenal reminds me a lot of the last fixture at White Hart Lane. And I think it's going to be the similar type of energy and atmosphere.
And we got
coming
to
into
prove.
the stadium. Because we have to beat them.
Yeah, because they listen, let's be honest. They battered us at theirs. They embarrassed us. So, you know, and the players wouldn't have forgotten that. No, but the players wouldn't have forgotten that. Do you know what I mean? As a club. So, you know, they have to put that right. You know, for the fans as well. They have to put it right.
A question here from Tommy. When does the yellow cards restart? Saturday, there's a Brazilian who plays for Aston Villa, and we all know Romero likes to kick Brazilians.
That's what I said about Romero.
Could be crucial. On the Premier League website, it says that players who get 10 yellow cards in the Premier League in Premier League matches up to and including their team's 32nd fixture will serve a 2-match suspension in the competition.
God. So where are we with Romero then?
Villa's the last game.
Yeah.
If he can avoid Villa, then he won't get the suspension.
So if he doesn't, if he gets booked at Villa, is he going to get suspension?
Yeah.
No, he's on 8. I think he's on 8.
Is he? So no,
I think he's on 8.
Get 2 more.
Yeah. Oh no, he can't get 2. He can get 1 more, I believe. I might be wrong. I think he can get 1 more.
That's what worries me about Romero. It's just the amount of bookings he gets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thanks for want to lose him. Craig,
brilliant question.
Your player of the season and your most improved player of the season.
Yeah, it's hard to look past Harry Kane, to be honest. I can't add any more than what we already talked about. Harry Kane, he has turned up in the big games so far this season. No more so than Manchester City.
Yeah, amazing.
You know, brilliant performance, and even. You know, the weekend, he was just phenomenal. I would like to give it to somebody else, but I can't look past Harry Kane. As for the most improved, I would go as far as say I'm not sitting on the fence here, but I think Antonio Conte's improved a lot of players, and I think there'd be a lot in my mind up for that. Well, Ben Davies doesn't get much positivity, not positivity, but he doesn't. You know, he kind of flies under the radar. He's like 7 out of 10 every week, and he in my mind. We should keep hold of Ben Davies, still look for a left-handed centre-back, but he's proved he can be a good squad player in that position. If Conte wants 2 people for every position, Ben Davies has got to be in there because he's played brilliantly in my opinion. I think Sessegnon's in with a shout for that. I think he's improved. Even Doherty over the last few games, not over the course of the season, but certainly over the last six games, I think he's really good.
Yeah, Skip.
Eric Dyer.
Eric Dyer. I was coming on to Dyer. I think he's been a rock at the back. A lot of players are in with a shout for that. You could even say Bergwijn, the way he comes on, he hasn't had many minutes, but he's obviously got his confidence back there. So, you know, there's so many that Conte's improved throughout the season. If you think where we were and how depressed we were when Nuno, that first month after we won the first 3 games.
Horrible, wasn't it?
And Alex came on here and said he still thinks we'll finish 10th. And we was all saying, no, we're top of the league. What are you banging on about?
I forgot about that.
You know, and it, to a degree, he would have been. I think he would have been right had we not acted when we did, because it was going downhill very, very quickly. And I think next 8 games are very important. We all know that. I think Conte will stay if we get top 4. I think Conte will stay if we get top 4 or not. If I'm honest.
I do. Yeah.
I think it's how he's backed in the summer, and how I think Kane will stay if we don't get top 4, depending on how we're backed in the summer. Because he's always said if he feels the club's going forward, he's happy to stay. I think that's still true. I think Haaland will go Man City. I don't think going to Manchester United is an upward move at all. I think that would be a wrong move for Harry Kane. He's not going to go Liverpool when they got Salah, Mane, Diaz, Origi, Jota. You know, I don't think he fits in there easily, shall we say. So where else is he going to go? He said he's not going abroad. He's not going to Arsenal. He wouldn't go Chelsea. So, you know, let's get top 4.
Yeah.
Come on, you Spurs.
One Premier League result from this evening: Burnley 3, Everton 2.
Jesus.
Everton are just above the relegation zone, and I think they're in big trouble at the moment.
Yeah, massively.
Did Dele Alli get on?
No.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? If they could sell him on, what happens to our fee then if they sell him on?
Yeah,
Good question.
Sad.
That's Levy's problem.
Yeah,
It is, but it's so sad. You know, I've got a
it's sad
soft
with
spot
Dele,
for
man.
Dele.
Honestly, you know,
Yeah.
it is
Dele
very,
Alli
very
didn't get
sad.
any minutes tonight, Craig. No.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I guess you can't say anything else about him now, can you? Do you know what I mean? It's just like, what can you say?
If Everton drop, we should go for a couple of their players.
I've said Dominic Calvert-Lewin from the start.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a very, very good shout for
I don't like his dress sense much, but his football's all right.
I was about to say the same, Gary.
Would you? Great minds, great minds.
As long as they score goals for us, that's all that matters, really.
Don't
isn't it?
matter, yeah, it's simple as that, definitely.
Well, thank you to all 3 of you for joining me this evening, and thanks so much to Sophie from the Highbury squad as well. A pleasure her being on, giving her thoughts on Spurs and Arsenal. Melvin, thanks so much for joining us this evening. Nice to have you back.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris. Hopefully we continue the winning streak, the winning run, and we get top 4. And next season, I'll see you for the Champions League away games.
Yes, exactly. No more Europa Conference League, please.
Oh, God, please, God.
Not with Gary, anyway.
No.
Craig, thanks for joining us. Lovely to see you smiling again.
Yeah, it's been great tonight. I really enjoyed it. I hope everyone's enjoyed it too. Bit of fun doing our predictions, and let's hope. I think we all had us finishing in full spot, basically.
Well,
so
I was
not a surprise, but you know,
I was going to ask that because I said we ain't finishing in the top 4, but with my score predictions, do we finish in the top 4 then?
Yeah, you've done it, Gary. You've answered it.
I was never any good at maths, so there you go.
Well, Gary, lovely to have you back as well.
Pleasure, honestly, really enjoyed it tonight. Can't thank you enough, mate. Always love being on your show, and it's nice to talk to. And listen, look, you know, I take it back about Sophie. She's actually quite nice on the show tonight. So it was even nice to have an Arsenal fan on. You know, I think we should get other fans on more often. I think it's quite good, wasn't it? It was quite nice.
It was good. It really was actually.
Yeah,
it really was.
Changes it up a little bit. So I actually quite enjoyed it because it's nice to have a different football fan, but on your show, Chris. You see what I mean? You can really get their ideas, thoughts, and opinions. I mean, most of them are as delusional as what we are, but it's great to hear, though. So yeah, no, I loved it, Chris. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks so much to all 3 of you. It's been a pleasure talking to you this evening. Thanks so much to everybody watching and listening to this as a podcast. If you don't subscribe to the YouTube channel, please do hit that subscribe button. Share and like as well, and comment below. And if you are listening to this on an audio platform, do hit that follow button and share if you can as well. I'll see you for another Spurs chat when I've got another 3 very special guests after the game at Aston Villa on Saturday, where hopefully we pick up another 3 points and stay in that top 4. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. Until the next time, come on, you Spurs.
Go on.